You're listening to the Valley Labor Report with David Story and Jacob Morrison.
On to the interview. We've got on the line with us today Andy Woloszyn. Andy is an 8-to-5 worker, an activist, 32 years old, and now he is running for mayor of the city of Huntsville. Thanks for coming on the line today, brother. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you, Jacob and David. I really appreciate that.
Absolutely, absolutely. So tell the audience just a little bit about yourself.
Hi, well, my name is Andy Woloszyn again. I am currently working in customer service at a lab. And about 6 months ago, I put a team together to decide to run for mayor of Huntsville. I've been either an activist or some form of community organizer since I was about 18, so that's about 14 years. Everything, along the lines of environmentalism to union activism to, you name it, women's reproductive rights. I've been there. It's just been something that's driven me and something that's been a part of me my whole adult life, and I'm really happy to be able to put it out there for the people to see.
So, can you tell us? That's a little bit about yourself. Why are you running for mayor of Huntsville? We've got about a minute and a half left in this segment, and I'm gonna just give you the rest of this time to lay out broadly your platform, and then we'll go into more specifics on the other side.
Well, I saw over the last 2 years all of these different progressive campaigns making a difference and showing people that there's a different way, there's alternatives to the status quo, and that's essentially what drove me to put together a campaign, and it just grew from there. So we are a progressive campaign. I don't just want to be an alternative to the current. I want to be here to show people what we can do, what the government can do for them on a municipal level, and how they should be proud of where they live and should be proud of the people that they vote for.
Yeah, thank you for that. I appreciate you running. There's a lot, like Tommy Battle is definitely an entrenched incumbent. Lots of folks were scared to run against him. It takes a lot to be willing to put yourself out there against such tall odds, against such an entrenched incumbent. So we appreciate your bravery and your courage in doing that. We're going to get into more of the specifics about your platform on the other side of this break. Stay tuned. This is the Valley Labor Report.
Just like the father of my father, time stole his mind, and I can't forget that 1/4 of his blood is mine. I try not to worry.
Good morning and welcome back to the Valley Labor Report. This is Jacob Morrison here with your co-host David Story. On the line we have Andy Woloszyn. He is running for mayor of Huntsville. So Andy, give us just a little bit. What are some of your key just take like 30 seconds or something. What are some of the key planks in your platform?
So the key points that we talk about when we're opening about the campaign is the first one is police reform and how law enforcement interacts with the community. Second one is workers' rights in the city. And then the third one is what we call Y'all Means All, and it's about expanding city budget and its resources to everybody in the community, not just the affluent neighborhoods and the wealthy corporations.
Gotcha. Thank you. So, everybody knows this is a union talk show. We're proud to be unionists, and so that's kind of workers' rights is kind of the center of our of where we are. We want to make sure that folks support workers, and so at the VW organizing drive a few years back, Volkswagen up in Tennessee, we saw not only the boss, but local, state, and federal politicians harassing workers to try to stop them from forming a union a few years ago. Can workers count on your support in unionization efforts, in on picket lines, during strikes, during campaigns for fairness and dignity on the job, things like that?
Absolutely. I've been pro-labor, pro-union, again, since basically I started organizing. And as city mayor, not only would I never cross a picket line myself, but I would support any city workers that wanted to organize and even encourage it. I think that it's really important that you have leadership that supports workers, making a better life not only for themselves but the community. You know, it's all connected.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, in your little snippet about your platform, you mentioned police reform, and I think our listeners know that there's a local Citizens Coalition for Criminal Justice Reform, and they've got 10 pieces of 10 demands that they've got for police reform. Do you support their list of 10? And specifically, do you support a Democratic police review board that has the power to fire and discipline officers?
Absolutely. And we have officially and publicly endorsed those 10 points.
Okay.
Not only that, but that oversight committee has been something that the community in general has been asking for a while. So when we put that campaign together, that was already one of our main points, was police oversight committee.
Gotcha. So more on police reform. Would you support reallocating some portion of HPD's budget to social services? You know, there's been a lot of talk about do police, do they need to be responding to every call? Like, if somebody's having a mental health breakdown, should the police really be responding to that? And so where do you fall on that? And do you think some of their budget should be, reallocated towards, if police aren't going to be responding to mental health calls, then presumably that part of the budget should go towards mental health workers, right? Is that something that you support?
It is. I definitely support reallocating resources. I also support, so one of the things that the mayor can actually do is the mayor can appoint the police chief. And the first thing that I would do in office would be to vet a new police chief that's open for change. That's somebody that would be open for us to be working with social workers on calls that police are not trained to do. And to be quite honest, they shouldn't have to do that. That puts them in harm's way. That puts them at risk for misconduct. This is not a direct attack on those workers in the police force. This is trying to support them and make sure that they're not getting put in situations that would harm themselves. And I think that most of them on the ground would agree that they would appreciate if they had social workers who'd be out there in these situations that they didn't need to be in. And I think a police chief that somebody's out there with a likewise mindset who's just ready for something like this, and I'm sure they would be happy to have leadership involved that push for it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, this demand to move some work towards social workers. This is often framed as kind of a left-wing anti-cop demand, but I've seen lots of police chiefs actually bemoaning the fact that all of society's problems are thrown onto the police, and the saying, when you're a hammer, everything looks like a nail. Well, police are deadly force. Police are literally the violent arm of the state. And so, if you throw all your problems on the police, that's what you're going to get, is you're going to get more violence. So I don't think that's a particularly anti-cop thing to be for. I know lots of folks in the International Association of Theatrical and Stagehand Employees, Local 900. These are folks that they do the events, setting up at the VBC for any big gig that happens. They're trained, they're safer, they're more efficient than non-union folks that would do that same work. And a lot of the bigger artists that come here, they demand that union labor be done to set up everything. And so they always do the work, and yet the city won't negotiate with them as a union. They've had to form a corporation as a subsidiary of the union in order for the city to do any business with them, which they estimate is increases their costs by 10%, but the city is fine with doing this so long as they don't have to bargain with the union. I mean, it's just out and out anti-union, anti-worker stuff. The city repeatedly ignores safety concerns. They say they don't have to follow OSHA requirements. They say they won't bargain with IETSE as a union because then they'll have to deal with the firefighters and teachers unions and stuff. So they continue to treat their employees with contempt and pay them low wages and force them to work in unsafe conditions. If elected, would you stop the practice of ignoring workers' elected and collective voice on the job and bargain with IETSE and the teachers union and the firefighters union openly, fairly, and with dignity and respect for these workers?
Absolutely. And it is the practice of the current administration not to sit at the tables with the workers. The current administration is completely pro-business, and you'll see it not just there, but you had just mentioned the teachers' union is extremely anti-union. It will not meet with not even just the teachers' union, but even the teachers' board of education or the education board. So that would be a practice that needs to be prioritized. We need to sit at the table with whatever, mediator and proper city officials. Right. And we need to start talking to them and their needs to make this city more efficient, like you said, safer, faster, and better for the workers.
We're running out of time. Where can folks find you?
You can find us at AndyForThePeople.com. That is a numeric for AndyForThePeople.com. You can also find us at AndyForThePeople on Facebook.
Thanks, Andy. Appreciate it. Stay tuned. We've got more interviews with city municipal candidates. Stay tuned. This is the Valley Labor Report. Again, folks, we appreciate your time today. If you want to see what we're up to throughout the week, get our snide quips about the news of the day, then you should follow us on social media. We're on Facebook at facebook.com/Valley Labor Report. We're on Twitter at Labor Reporters. I'm on Twitter at JacobM_AL. David is on Twitter at Radical Unionist. That's spelled RADICL Unionist. If you missed part of the show and want to go back and watch it later, you can search YouTube for The Valley Labor Report and subscribe to our channel. You can go back and watch the full show there, and we also clip segments throughout the week. And if you appreciate our work and want to help keep us on the air, consider throwing us a couple dollars a month on patreon.com/The Valley Labor Report.